Tonight from North Lake College, it's a District 6A matchup as the Lady Vikings of Nimitz take on the Lady Tigers of Irving. Second meeting in district play between these two schools, and a very pleasant good evening, everyone, on this 1st of February. John Nelson along with Rob Willman. The Lady Tigers come in having lost 7 in a row. Coming off a loss to Coppell, the Lady Cards, your district champions this year of 6A, Hebron, Louisville, and Marcus. The top 4 teams, Flower Mound, Coppell, Nimitz, and Irving, rounding out District 6A on the girls' side. Irving coming off a loss to Coppell, 75-36. Nimitz also coming off of a loss. They've dropped their last 5. As we'll see the starters being introduced for the Lady Tigers of Irving, averaging 37 points a game. For the Lady Vikings, it'll be Mendoza, Gomez, Brown, Gonzalez, and Faulkner. Brittany Gonzalez, the team's leading scorer, averaging 12 in district play. Nimitz averaging 30 points a contest. For the Lady Tigers, it'll be Taylor, Gully, Alvarado, Avery, and Patterson. Of those 5, Constance Avery leading the team, averaging 7. Trinity Smith not starting tonight. Trinity was averaging 19 points a game, but Coach Katrina Robinson deciding not starting Trinity Smith, their junior guard, tonight. There's Katrina Robinson in the middle in year number 5. A South Grand Prairie grad. Played college basketball at UT for 4 years. And Angela Evans, the head coach for the Lady Vikings of Nimitz in year number 3, took over for the late Pam Owens. She has been at Nimitz since 2009. Lady Tigers in solid black, the Lady Vikings in the road dark blue, and the Lady Tigers, this is a home game for Irving. They are in the home whites. They're at center circle, and here's Rob Willman for tonight's call.
All right, John, thank you very much. Both of these teams would like to finish out the season. They have one more game left after this one on a winning note. And as John alluded to earlier, both of these teams come in on the skids, if you will, and trying to break that mark. In fact, Irving only winning 1 game since the Christmas break. That was a non-district game. Both teams also not very deep on the bench. Nimitz has 3 to choose from on the bench, and Irving has just a couple. The first shot up and missed by Gomez, and rebounded. And here come the Tigers very quickly, pushing the ball up the court on the right-hand side is the guard, which is Gully. She misses in the lane. It's not going to count, and a traveling call against Bessie Alvarado, the sophomore, averaging just under 4 points a ball game. Smith not starting. She's on the bench. Angie Evans, the head coach for Nimitz, said coming into the game, it's really between Smith and Gonzalez. Which point guard will play better? A little pivot inside, and the basket is good by Tori Faulkner, the first 2 points of the ball game. And the Vikings are out to an early lead. Second time this season we've been at North Lake College. Our last game on ICTN, it was MacArthur and Irving High School on the same hard court. Baseline shot is true and good by 21, Constance Avery. Avery averaging just a few decimal points over 7 points a ball game. And what happens is when you don't get your star player out starting the game, then someone else has to bring up the slack. That's a nice soft touch by Cadence Brown, the sophomore. And it's 4-2, Lady Vikings. Nimitz with their tallest player at 5'9". Not a lot of height. Both teams can probably successfully drive the paint. There's a long shot in the corner. Comes up empty by Avery, and back come the Lady Vikings. Gonzalez double teamed for a second or two, and Gully will have to guard her. Gully pushes off to Gomez in the wing. Gomez looking inside, and it's stolen by Avery. Here comes Avery, the little no-look pass, and somehow it's saved by the Lady Vikings. Gonzalez will try to go up at 4'10". She doesn't have a lot of angle and leeway, and I think her shot was missed because of that. Back come the Lady Tigers, and the shot by Randy Patterson, number 30.
Only a freshman.
Yep. Only 3 seniors on this Katrina Robinson team, one of which hasn't played the last week, and that was Sarah Guadarrama. So technically she just has 2 seniors on this team at this stage of the season. And a turnover by the Lady Vikings here in the early go, and we're tied at 4. It took an 18-point third quarter for the Lady Vikings to win the first time these 2 teams met. And I see it will probably be close early on as well. This one is hit by number 10, Tasman Gully. They say 2, or do they give her 3? The scoreboard says 2, John.
Give her 2, yeah.
I thought she was behind the line, but maybe not. Maybe we'll get a better look at that on replay. Gonzalez is going through the trees. Gives it over to Brown. Brown double team. Come out to the top to Mendoza. Gonzalez will slow it down a little bit, and now she puts up the 3 ball.
That's her shot.
Last time we saw her play, it took her a while to get on fire. Going the distance was Alvarado and had it knocked out of her hands. Let's see, is it a 3 or not, John?
Well, Gully. Yeah, contact on the line. Gully had 11 points in the game we did last week against Mac.
Little backcourt pressure provided by the Lady Tigers. Gonzalez triple team. You know that means somebody's open, but they can't find the post, low post. They had 2 on each side. Both Faulkner and Brown were open. Couldn't get them the ball with the easy 2 points, so they reload here offensively. There is Brown trying to find an open player. Brown off the window. So Cadence with a couple of baskets here in the first quarter. Finding the open shot, kisses that off the glass. And we're tied at 6. Already halfway through quarter number 1.
Both of these teams in district defensively allow about the same. Nimitz giving up 58, Irving allowing 57.
A little pushing there. And the referee says, okay, look, I saw it both. I'm going to slap a T to both as Angie looks on. And that was Mendoza and Gully. I mean, you know, it is a little crosstown rivalry. You're not going to let one get one over on the other. And so the ref saw one push, saw the retaliation, and we'll leave it at that. They'll
talked
both
about
assess the T. Go ahead, John.
Talked about Brittany Gonzalez. That is her shot. Her 3-point shot has given her quite a legacy at Nimitz. She comes in having landed 58 3-pointers. She's averaging 12 a game. And I tell you, for somebody that's 4'11", she gets the most out of her 3-point shots. That's a great percentage from that distance.
Yeah, Gully will sit down, and Johnson will take her place after the little push around there.
Beyonce Johnson, a junior.
Mendoza also taking a breather. We call these coaching opportunities, John. Coaching opportunities.
The edge.
Ball missed. Push inside, a lot of passing, and some missed open shots. Back to the top of the key, Patterson. Air ball, and it will be Viking ball.
Well, 2 offensive rebounds, and then the long 3 not there for Rainey Patterson. And a turnover.
And now off the bench will be Warren, the 5'9" junior, setting down Gomez, number 12. So under 3. We talk about how both of these teams have struggled to get wins, and John was saying how both of these teams pretty much surrender the same amount of points. That usually makes for a competitive game.
It does.
And the uncontested layup by Randy Patterson. She now has 4 of her team's 8 points here in the first quarter. 2 points. Lady Tiger lead. They are the home team. Their gymnasium, or don't know if the They hadn't really started on the gymnasium as we understand it, but the perimeter of the gymnasium and the buildings all around it getting some work. Gonzalez misses her second. She's 25% from behind the three-point line, by the way. Oh, left all by herself. No one blocked out Ferguson. And Ferguson gets 2 points. You know, not the tallest player out there, but when no one blocks you out, John, it can make for an easy rebound.
Right place at the right time. Trinity Smith's about ready to check in for Irving.
And the three-point shot by Patterson is missed. Follow-up is good by Avery. Avery with 4. Patterson 4. Gonzalez dishes. Go back out to Brown. Brown 2 out of 4 here in the first quarter from the field. Gonzalez will try to pick a pocket, can't do it. And the ball is thrown away as Avery makes the mistake, and now Smith has set down long enough, so maybe she missed practice, whatever. Coach was sending a message to her star junior in the backcourt, and that is you're going to have to sit a little bit. And now here's the matchup we've been waiting for. Smith guarding Gonzalez. Bounce pass inside, trying to work the weak side to Ferguson again. This time it was Alvarado that was waiting for it. And we got a travel call, and maybe Smith a little anxious coming off the bench and almost ran out of her shoes.
Try to get an extra step around Cadence Brown.
We'll see how Coach Evans maybe changes her coaching style with Smith now in the lineup. Does she go with another quicker player to try to nullify the speed of Trinity Smith? This is Ferguson looking for an open player. Brown finally works free, and they give to Gonzalez. They're not going to wait for the final play. They're just going to try to put a shot up, and drawing the foul is Flores. And this should be our first attempted free throw, John, in the ball game.
Yeah, Griselda with a nice first step. Was not going to be denied. Did about a 180 pivot and got the shot off and draws a 2-shot foul.
And missed the first.
One of 4 seniors on the varsity.
And 1 out of 2. Smith in the corner to Ferguson. Over to Avery. Weak side Smith. They got a player wide open on the baseline. And Brown comes up with it. Ball is tapped around a little bit. Check that was Gomez that kept it alive. Gonzalez has it now. Trying to use any type of screen that she can pick up to work free, but the clock is winding down. She's going to have to take a long shot, and it is missed, and that's how we're going to end the first quarter. So the home team of Irving High School leading Nimitz by 1, 10-9, back with the second quarter in a moment. Well, the Nimitz Vikings trying to sweep the series this year. They won game 1 38-29 as Angie Evans looks on. Last time we saw Angie, she had the leg brace on. Has a torn ACL. She says, hey, once it's torn, I don't have to wear the brace anymore. And in fact, has surgery scheduled the Thursday of next week. The season's over Tuesday. Thursday she goes in for the surgery, so she'll be ready for off-season. That's dedication.
Good news, bad news.
Yep. Nimitz has had their own share of bad streaks so far this year, as that one is pretty much forced up by Avery. Second shot followed. And basket is good.
Beyonce Johnson.
Johnson's first 2, she averages about 2 points a game. She has her average. Now Gonzalez is double teamed, and it's picked. Smith Off the glass and in. Smith with 2. Ball is loose. Kept in play. Bodies fly. We got a jump ball. Possession arrow goes to the Lady Vikings. Yeah, kind of aggressive there, isn't it?
Well, it went over the half-court stripe twice, then back and then touched. Our biggest lead right now at 5.
Lady Vikings had lost 7 in a row before they defeated Adamson during the holidays. Collins, that's really Gonzalez out of her range there. You know, you got to feel good if you're Coach Robinson and the Lady Tigers to have a lead before your star player, the only one on the roster that scores in double digits and, in fact, almost scores 20 of your points a ball game.
Yeah, they kept it close at 4-4, at 8-8.
Gonzalez, the runner, and she draws the foul. Avery is going to be tagged for that personal.
Team foul number 3 on the Lady Tigers, and we see the junior at the line for the first time.
Right about 70% free throw shooter for the season. Makes that one count.
Again, we're at North Lake, that renovation outside the gym. They're not going to renovate the gym itself. It's the building behind the gym, and the parking's a situation, a problem that necessitated the move here to North Lake.
Gonzalez hits both. Tigers holding on to the 3-point lead. Fade away. Oh, pretty shot by Avery. She's got 6. And she is taking advantage of the inside game. And I can see what Robinson is trying to do here early, and that is work underneath the glass. Coach Evans says, I need time. I need to talk to my players because I see what's going on, and we have to make some adjustments accordingly. She's looking at Mendoza a little bit, telling her this is where you've got to be. It might reflect back to when they were trying to bring the ball up, and Gonzalez got doubled up, and there was no help over there. A quick timeout. It's just one of those quick, you know, placement of the player, John. You've got to be here.
Right. Get your spot and
yeah, get in your right spot.
Execute the play that was called if you can.
Nimitz with 3 to choose from on the bench, and Irving High with just 2. A couple of minutes here into the second quarter of play. We'll have the boys game right after this on ICTN. Gonzalez has now missed 3 in a row from behind the arc. And here comes Smith, Speedy Smith. And at first I thought she did a good job of drawing the foul, being a little animated, but she's going to get called for the travel call.
Yeah, she paid for it. She got hit twice after the traveling violation.
Number 3, Chanel Taylor, sophomore for Irving High, now coming in and setting down is Patterson. The ball is thrown away. And right now, John, the backcourt pressure, I think, by Irving is really—
it's evident.
Giving these Lady Vikings fits. Taylor's left open, or Smith is. He didn't have the shot. That falls for Avery. She's now got 8 points. And the senior playing a really good game here in the first half. And looky here, now she's got the steal. Avery says, I'm just going to take it all the way. Missed the layup. Brown with the rebound, and she's going to be fouled. Might have been Avery trying to reach in, and it is number 21 to get the rebound.
Team foul number 4. She'll come out.
Yep, Gully comes in. Constance takes a breather. One of 2 seniors, the other is Gully. And now Brown will sit down for Nimitz. And Ryan Warren, number 32, will check in. If you're Nimitz, you've got to get the jump shot working around the outside perimeter. Well, first you got to get it across the half-court line without making a mistake. And Gonzalez with a friendly nudge, if you will, on Smith. She'll go to the free throw line.
Oh, when she gets the ball inside, Rob, she has one thing on her mind. She's not going to give it up. She's going to take it to the hole and always draws hard contact this year in district.
Every time. Makes the first free throw.
Averaging 19 points a game. Had 15 the last game we did here.
And all about 65% from the free throw line. So just like that, she has 4 points here. And more, I think, is her speed and tenacity in the backcourt that's really giving them fits. And we had 2 whistles. One official said, I'm going to let the other one make the call, and he said it went backcourt. So the pressure is really hurting Nimitz. In the corner, back to the top. Bombs away, 3-ball missed by Gully. Ball tips around and nicely done by Alvarado. Her first 2 points for the sophomore. And right now, Nimitz has no answer for the Irving press. Stolen. Smith goes up, and like we said earlier, she draws a foul pretty much 9 out of 10 times.
Oh, they swarm to her, and again, how hard a contact she has taken this year in 23 games.
More substitutions for the Lady Vikings underneath. It's Flores back in. Free throw missed by Smith. And a jump ball, this time possession arrow pointing toward Irving High School. Smith leading the Tigers, we said, in scoring. She also leads the team in assists, 3-pointers, steals. So an integral part of this offensive team when she's not playing. And it just opens up shots for everyone else, like that one in the corner by Gully.
Now a little one-sided at 14 points.
And another jump, and this will be Nimitz's ball. This is what, about the 3rd possession in a row, John, that as soon as Nimitz gets to about the half-court line, it's been very difficult for them to get any closer to the goal.
Yeah, nobody's open in the paint or on the wings.
Under 4 before the break. 14-point Lady Tiger lead.
They have scored 15 points in this quarter, and the Lady Vikings have tallied just 2.
Power move inside. Flores posted up rather well, couldn't finish the deal. Smith, another foul.
She goes again underneath. Team foul number 4 on Nimitz.
Every time she just attacks the goal and gets the opportunity. So we've seen a lot of sweeps in this series. In fact, 7 of the last 8 years, the team that won the first game won the second. But something Mr. Nelson is going to have to drastically change for me to think Nimitz is going to come back in this one. I just can't see it happening right now.
Need to get that shot off, and they do.
Gonzalez is still looking for her first field goal of the game. Nimitz missing a couple of players. Tierra Wilson, the sophomore, who averages close to 8 points a game, not playing tonight. That's some offensive numbers that these Lady Vikings could use.
Yeah, they need all the offense they can muster tonight.
Gully trying to direct traffic a little bit. Got Taylor to screen her off. Forced a shot up. They got the rebound. Well, the Tigers, Gully, or Taylor coming off the court slowly. And here we go again to the free throw line.
Got a reach in on Mendoza, number 2. Team foul number 5.
Going to be free throws 7 and 8 just in the first half.
Yep, 7. Had 12 points in that first meeting early in district, a 38-29 win by Nimitz.
Well, she misses one, and this might enable Nimitz to be able to set up their offense. And Gonzalez is going to be hacked as she tried to feed a teammate in the paint, and she will go to the free throw line shooting 1+. It was 10-9 after the first quarter. Free throw good. All of her points from the line. That means the second quarter for the Lady Vikings, they've only scored right now 3 points.
Yeah, just
in the
about
second
6
quarter.
minutes.
Yeah. So Brittany's 4 for 4 from the line. Keeps it a little close at 15. If I'm Irving, I just keep doing what I'm doing. And
yeah, why change?
yeah, I mean they don't even shoot from outside the perimeter, John. It's just take it to the rim every time. Forget the jump shot. We're just going to go for layups.
9 points off of the bench since Smith came on.
Oh, nice play by Gonzalez.
All right.
Drove the lane, faked the pass, took the shot. Soft little running jump, and it falls. I guess pretty much, John, every trip down, Smith is just going to drive.
Well, it's like Superman. She just leaves her feet, flies parallel to the court,
and falls down every time.
Takes a fall.
That's a travel. It was a good rebound by Johnson.
Yeah, it was. She got to it first.
Rebound, but couldn't do anything with it before she shuffled her feet and got called for the travel.
You know, this is a nice facility, Rob, but there's too much foot traffic. You know, sometimes we can't even see who shoots the ball.
No, you can't.
Right in front of us.
You've got the Irving High drill team in front of us. There she goes again. Mm-hmm. And did she actually draw? She drew the foul, much to the dismay of Mendoza. He's like, I didn't even touch her.
That's the 6th team foul. Two teams split their games last year.
That falls. It might be the JV team for Irving High girls that have answered the pants and keep walking in front of us.
Can they wait for a timeout, though?
No. Not at all. All right, Ferguson back in for the Lady Vikings. Taylor back in for Irving High School along with Gully. Nimitz across the court. Brown couldn't handle the ball. Just over a minute to go. Irving High scored 71 points, John, back in 13 and 14.
That's our high water mark for a long time in the series.
That's a lot of points even for MacArthur. And I'm sure that made all the Nimitz and Irving fans cringe. There's another runner by Brittany. Missed. One and done. Here comes Gully. Gully's going to face 3 defenders. Pushes it. Brown's there. She had Ferguson taking off, but Ferguson was blocked off, and so she didn't have the outlet pass. Well done defensively by the Lady Tigers. There is a foul in the backcourt. No one's in the bonus yet. And so with under a minute to go, Nimitz will try to answer. They got 10 seconds. They're still not over the half-court line. Collins took that one down all the way down to about 9 seconds before she got the call. And Gonzalez will put up 2 fingers. That's the let's score 2 points. In the corner. Not there. Offensive rebound can't fall. As Gomez was right there on the baseline. Had the offensive board and couldn't put it back.
Has anybody hit it? We've had 1 3 from Gully.
That's it. So Smith is going to drive. She's going to set up at the point and then just take off. She circled the wagons 2 or 3 times. See, John, that's why they don't shoot from the outside.
Yeah, that's not there. Not there.
Why not when you can drive? 31-15 as Irving outscores Nimitz 21-6 in that second quarter. And Coach Robinson should be happy so far, and that young lady as well. So we finish the half. We'll start the third quarter in a moment.
And welcome back to Northlake, just a few minutes away from the start of half number 2. It is all Irving here in the first 16 minutes on top, 31-15. Let's take a look at some of the highlights early on for the Lady Vikings as they work it inside. Tori Faulkner off of the glass as the senior scores the first 2 points for Nimitz. They come right back down. Cadence Brown, 2 of her 4 points, and then the runner off of the glass by Brittany Gonzalez. Some of the early highlights for the Lady Vikings. Irving with 10 points in the first quarter. That's Tasman Gully from the outside. At first we thought it was a 3, but it was a 2. The drive underneath as Alvarado gets into the act, and the pickup at midcourt in the lead pass to Trinity Smith. And 2 of her 10 points. And then from the outside they put 21 on the board in that second quarter. Brittany Gonzalez leading all scorers for the Lady Vikings. Cadence Brown with 4. Trinity Smith in double digits for Irving, and we're set for half number 2. Rob?
Well, the question is, if you're a Viking fan, can you make an adjustment to stop the fast game and the fact that Irving seems to be just drawing a lot of fouls every time they bring the ball up the court? And we get what appeared to be a jump ball, but then a foul called on Tasman Gully reaching in on Brown.
A little too aggressive.
Yep. Can the Lady Vikings press half court, beat the half court game, and keep Smith in check? If you're Katrina Robinson and the coaches, I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Lady Vikings trying to do something they didn't do in the first half, and that's a lot of ball movement. Move the ball around. Gonzalez drove the lane, and now I think she's going to draw the foul like her counterpart Smith did so well in the first half. Now it's a non-shooting foul, so it's his team foul number 1 here in the early go of quarter number 3. Rob Willman with you along with John Nilsson. We will be joined by Northlake head coach Tim McGraw in the second game of our 2 here, as the boys will take center stage after the ladies continue to play. That ball mishandled somewhat by Gully. They get it out to Patterson on the wing, and she gets the 3-pointer. Patterson's first 3-pointer for the freshman in this game, and Lady Tigers, everything falling their way in this ball game as that losing streak in the sights to be over at Blazer Stadium. Oh, nice ball movement. They couldn't finish it off as Gomez was free underneath the baseline. and missed the little 2-footer.
Man, they did everything but score.
That's the type of plays. There's a travel. That's the type of plays that give the coaches the heartaches. Give them an ulcer or two. They did everything you taught them, where they need to be, how they need to pass, but then you can't finish it off. And that's probably more disheartening than anything. But hey, they're high school coaches. They've seen it more than one time.
It's like leaving dessert on that buffet table.
Oh, how can we do it? How can we do it? Gonzalez for 3. So her first 3-pointer, missed about 4 in a row in the first half, but she was in the corner this time. They've got a long way to go.
You know, some shooters like that corner shot better than straight on. They get a better look at that side.
Well, it worked for Brittany, at least here in the third quarter. Back around. Alvarado, double dribble. You used to see double dribble a lot in our day, John, in our early years.
And the double,
when the girls first started playing basketball, it seemed like all these games, they couldn't get coordinated enough, and they've all gotten better at it.
I think what helped, the 10-second backcourt. You got to get it up court, and before that, you saw a ton of those double dribble calls.
There's Coach Robinson. She took her players, and she take a look at the series. She took her team to watch Baylor play a couple of years ago. Might have been last year. She took her players. Girls got to meet her high school girls got to meet the college players. They really enjoyed the road trip. And as you take a look at this series, Nimitz has won 2 in a row, but not until Irving had 3 in a row. So it's in streaks. Irving won a bunch there from 13, 14.
That's a great idea that Katrina had to take the girl. When she was at Texas, she played against the best teams in the country. Tennessee, LSU, Stanford, all of them. And she would know what a road trip means, and a chance to see somebody up close and just get the feel of college basketball.
And particularly the way the Lady Bears draw at home.
Yeah, it's hard to get a ticket.
This would be, something the girls haven't experienced, and that's to play in front of a really large crowd.
Farrell Center is a great venue in Waco.
Runner not going to fall. 1 and done for Nimitz, and back come the Tigers. Broke the fast break rather easily that time, capped off by Beyonce Johnson's 2-pointer. Junior providing a little height for Coach Robinson and company. Well, UConn had their hands full, and there's a 10-second call. We questioned Brittany, what was it, back in the first half? We said she's taking her time getting across the timeline. This time it came back to get her. But UConn's already lost, 2 games this year?
2 games within 3 weeks.
Yeah. Kind of takes the luster out of that Baylor win, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jump shot ironed and hits the back of the backboard or the top, and that means Nimitz will take over. Louisville, the one that handled UConn earlier this week.
That was a good women's game last week. Tennessee and Notre Dame. Lady Vols a little down this year.
It's a backcourt right there. Gomez not noticing that Collins was backcourt, or it might have been the fact that Alexis didn't realize that she was over the half-court line. Not a very thick, definitive half-court line here at the Blazer Gym. It's white, kind of blends in.
It's thin.
Here comes Smith again with her drive. Missed the first one, missed the second one. I think she draws half her fouls by just her movement.
Well, you can't let her go when she's underneath, and she draws all kinds of contact. Arm, elbow, knee. Is that her 11th free throw? 11th attempt.
Living at the line. Evans with two more bigger players trying to neutralize the inside game, and Trinity connects on her free throws. And that's one thing if you want to look at the box score after the ball game to see what
and we do
what Irving did better, and that is using their opportunities to make their free throws. Number one, as Johnson gets up a little gimpy after that play. And number two, just being able to force the issue in the backcourt. Quite a difference from game one. You know, I guess you want to see that your team improves, and Nimitz is just throwing the ball away tonight. Smith up, misses the free throw. The wide open shot was missed, but Ryan Warren put a pretty good hack on Bessie Alvarado. And the 44% free throw shooter will go to the line to shoot two.
Irving in the first half, 6 of 10 in foul shooting.
Alvarado with her first free. And you know what? That was all one player, John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
No one else can go to the free throw line. It's
There's
just
the 14th
Smith.
attempt.
And perfect. Congratulations to the Lady Cardinals. They wrapped up a district championship. Be the number one seed in this district. Jump shot, good. Gomez, her first 2 points. Left open, nothing but net. Here comes Smith from behind the three-point line. She answers for three. You know, John, the game just flows so much better when the jump shots fall.
Yeah, you got 2 passes in that shot. I like it.
Gomez waited just a tad too long to find Flores. That enabled Patterson to come back up and steal the ball. It's loose in the paint, body's flying, and somebody's going to get fouled.
Pick them up.
Boys game next here on ICTN. Always fun to watch. First time those two teams met, it was close through 3 quarters. So we'll see how that prevails. Let's go ahead and take a look at the district standings for both this district, 6-6A, and 5-6A in the girls basketball. We'll start with 6-6A, and as we said, MacArthur undefeated. They win district over Hebron, first title since 15-16. Then you got Hebron and Louisville, you know, really close. And then that 4th place spot was pretty tight. On the flip side, in 5-6A, Denton Guyer comfortable there. They've secured first place district championship. And then you've got Keller, Southlake, kind of a little log jam there trying to decipher who's going to be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And they've got one more game to play after this one before postseason starts.
Yeah, win by Mac over Hebron last week was pretty close, 9 points. The difference 61-52. They also went undefeated, securing the title in the 15-16 season.
So after a short break, I'm looking over at the Irving bench, John. And there's like just one player. There she is. Thought they had 2 to choose from. They had 7 when the game starts. Someone's missing. Rebound drugged down by Warren, and she throws it right to Smith. Smith read that one. Feeds on the corner, another hack. Warren picks up her 2nd personal foul. And there's a 2nd Irving player to make on the bench. They both took a break. Back on the court meanwhile, and Alvarado will go back to the free throw line. That steal by Smith, she could see it in the eyes of where the Lady Vikings were about to toss it. Read the play, made the steal. Because of the aggressive nature defensively that enabled the Tigers to go back to the free throw line.
Irving 11 of 15 from the line.
And that's pretty impressive right there, just the free throws they're making tonight.
And able to inbound cleanly.
And Warren, a couple of back-to-back mistakes, and so she will sit down. And it's something new for Coach Robinson, having a huge 25-point lead. No one was there to grab it, but Smith hustles over to get it at the key. Taylor with the miss, a whistle as that goes out of bounds, and it will be Nimitz's ball. You know, it's very easy for a team like Nimitz. You're down by 25, John. You've got a whole entire quarter left to go.
Yeah, in essence,
to really stay focused.
Yeah, in essence, it's a 25-0 game. I mean, you're down by 25. Having to scratch and claw back.
Double teamed. She cannot find a teammate. Will there be a foul? No.
Unusual.
Smith uncontested.
17 points unofficially for Trinity Smith. Came in averaging 19, did not start, but has lit it up here since that point.
Lady Vikings just look out of it. Evans with her hands on her head going, what else can go wrong?
I'd like to start this one over. Faulkner back in. Tori Faulkner, number 41.
Flores takes a breather. Mendoza will sit down, and Ferguson back in.
Well, they came in averaging just 37. They put 47 on the board here deep in the third quarter.
Taylor called for the travel. I think she might have got away with going over the back of Gonzalez to get the rebound. You've got that stronger district, John. You've got DeSoto, Cedar Hill, and of course Duncanville. And unlike football, everybody plays in the same bracket. That'll be interesting to see who comes out of that regional. Ball kicked around, last touched by Irving's Gully. Be interesting to see, you know, of course, you think of Duncanville and it's like New England in the Super Bowl. How can you vote against them until they lose?
Yeah, especially when you have an extra week to prepare.
Yeah. So it's almost the same thing as Duncanville. The ladies at Duncanville High, how can you vote against them?
Yeah.
Collins from way outside. Only one three-pointer tonight. Ball stolen away, an outlet. Gonzalez. If she tries to penetrate the lane, there's like 3 Lady Tigers in her face. There's the difference in how things have unfolded here in this one. Smith goes base and misses. Rebound Faulkner out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez does the run, and she just gets one shot. Bet you Smith goes all the way. What do you bet?
I would say that's a pretty good guess.
Pretty good money. Avery now with 10 points, her first 2 points of the second half. And the last shot, will it count? That's it. We finished 3, headed for 4. Irving 49, Nimitz 20, back with the final quarter in a minute. Well, we have one more quarter of basketball. And after this one, both teams will have one more game before the season's over. And it's been a tough one for these Lady Tigers, and they're taking their frustration out on the rivals from Nimitz. Gonzalez dishes on the baseline. Brown tapped it away, and she's the last one to touch it. Season started out with Irving High School winning a season opener fairly easily against Oak Cliff Faith Academy. And then they lost, kind of went back and forth for their first 4 games as Smith hits another deuce on the drive. They won 4 in a row right before the holidays, beating Turner and Creekview and Bertner and Turner again. And then the landslide.
The cave-in.
Gonzalez and a reach-in by Gully will be a foul.
Well, the most points they have scored up to now was the 67 against Creekview. Got 51 right now.
They dropped 14 out of 15 games after that 4-game winning streak. And now they're looking at it going, we can't do nothing wrong. Fadeaway nicely done by Gomez. Wide open was Avery, couldn't connect. I think Avery was so wide open she kind of caught herself as she was going up for the drive and the shot. Gomez and Mendoza play catch back and forth, and Gonzalez, who has Alvarado in her face. And they run a play for Brittany. They did a double screen. She went behind it both, but she still wasn't able to get the shot off. And Irving, John, I think, is just playing back a little bit. They don't seem to be in your face like they were early on. You got a big lead like this, you don't have to. Offensive board, bodies fly, everything's fine. Faulkner rebounds. And a little reach in by Alvarado as Gonzalez was trying to do her drive work. Second game will be interesting. It's almost like the same scenario, John. We got the boys coming up next. And you've got Steve Perry and his guys who have really had a long season as well, against a Nimitz team that's just a basket or two shy of really having a successful year and a winning record. Although they're down a couple players, and we'll get into that more as we get along with the guys. Alvarado called for the travel. 2 more fresh faces as Patterson will check in.
This is our last game on ICTN. We've got softball and baseball coming up in March and April.
Can't wait to see the new fields at Irving ISD. They put some fake grass out there, try to keep the rainouts to a minimum. That doesn't mean our trucks won't get stuck. We quit doing that. We used to park them out there behind center field and get a good rain in the mud.
Makes for a long night.
They would sink a little bit. Players still coming in and out as Mendoza will sit down. Had to yell back to her teammates, say, you got this player, this is your responsibility. Avery with a really nice pass on the baseline, but Patterson either A, didn't see it or just couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
and they'll turn the ball over. Maybe not the crowd we had last week for MacArthur, but still a pretty good one here.
It's on a Friday night.
Yeah, we drove up to North Lake and I noticed, oh yeah, no school on Fridays, I guess. It was nice and empty. I like that part. Ferguson can't make it fall. And back comes Patterson. Patterson with the runner. And now both teams just kind of exchanging trips up and down the court as we're about halfway through the final stanza in the last girls basketball game for us for this season. Don't know if Taylor wasn't ready for that one or not.
Try it
Taylor
again.
keeps it alive, goes to Patterson, and it falls. Patterson with 5 just in the second half. Yeah, if you're a Lady Tiger fan, you've got to relish every second and trip up and down the court in this game, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It's what you played all week for.
Stolen away.
Take the shot.
She missed the last one, so Ferguson goes to Gonzalez in the corner. Missed the 3, offensive putback. Credit Gomez with a nice play. She's had a couple of nice little putbacks there for her. And the dribble gets a little slower, and Coach Robinson wants a full time out.
Well, they outscored Nimitz in that third quarter 18-5. It was 31-15 at the break. Irving overall at 7-16. The Lady Vikings at 8-18. They were 2-12 in district last year, and with a loss tonight, they'll go to 1-12. Lady Tigers will go to 1-12 and snap a 7-game losing streak tonight, and they will have now won 4 of the last 6 games in this series.
We have National Signing Day coming up in college football. Be interesting to see nationwide how has the tide turned any. Will Texas get more blue chippers because they're making a move because of their win over Georgia?
That could be. TCU got a late commit. One of the strong linebackers in the Midwest committed to TCU as Gary Patterson took one away from the Big Ten.
I'm interested to see what the Mad Hatter does in Kansas. What's his recruiting class going? His very first recruiting class going to look like? He hasn't had a lot of time. You know, this stuff starts years, not just months before the signing date.
The Mad Hatter. You're right. Look out.
Maybe some players that are, you know, on the line because he's coaching at Kansas will, you know, change their mind. University of North Texas lost their offensive coordinator. Graham Harrell heading to USC. That's a big move for him, you know it?
Yeah, I just wonder, though, how much longer Chip Hilton has at USC.
They kind of reminded me of Texas. You know how they've really struggled. And they just can't find a coach that fits their style. And it's like Texas. It's a big university. It's rich in tradition. You just think, how can you not get the players to come there?
Yeah, well, especially when Lynn Swan's your AD.
Faulkner with the turnaround. Yeah, you've got all the parts and pieces in place as far as support. Surprised they didn't call that a kicking play right there.
Well, they swallowed the whistle. That's, you know.
Plus, you've got Will Farrell to come in and create some hijinks during practice.
That's true.
And the second time that Gonzalez has done that little move where she fakes it one way and takes it up the paint for 2 points.
We'll see her next year. She's just a junior.
And
Has her average tonight.
Also Smith with the basketball now. She'll come back next year. Just a couple of seniors graduating off this Irving team. Baseline blocked by Brown. Alvarado was on the baseline. line, and so she's automatically out. The boys from Irving High situated to come out and start warming up when this one is over. Remember the old days, everybody had like a gym bag that they'd take with them? Now it's a backpack. That's the new gym bag. Corner shot, nicely done by Gomez. She's up to 8 points. We're under a minute. Smith can just dribble this out if she wants to. It's funny to hear some of the kids behind us yell scoreboard.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to do that in 15 games.
Well, the wrestling continues, and the whistle and the stoppage of play with under 20 seconds.
Smith and Taylor tie it up underneath the little half circle. Dallas Mavericks making some trade moves, changing their lineup immensely. And that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. As this game winds down, under 10 seconds to go. And that should do it. Well, not a lot of points scored in the fourth quarter. In fact, Irving only scored 4 points. But they didn't score anymore because they are so far ahead, winning this one and splitting the series 53-30. When we come back, we'll have the highlights, the scores, and then the beginning of the boys' game. So stick around. $23 points. That's the difference for the Lady Tigers taking on the Lady Vikings and winning their first district game of the season. It couldn't come at a better time because they only had one more game left before that. Take a look at the highlights. You know that Brittany Gonzalez is going to try to make her mark, and she had a rough start from outside the circle. They worked her in, though, and Alexis Gomez also, when they could get the offense set up, they didn't look that bad. Nice little play here by Gonzo as she faked one way and went up the middle. Meanwhile, for the Lady Tigers, this is Patterson from the outside hitting the shot, but by and large, it was Trinity Smith. She pretty much changed the complexity of this game when she came in right toward the end of the first quarter, driving, drawing fouls, and hitting a couple of jump shots to boot. So she made the difference in this one. Gonzalez had 11 for the Vikings, Gomez 8, and you see Brown, Faulkner, Ferguson, and Flores rounding out the scoring. And then on the flip side, it's Smith with 19, her season average. Constance Avery poured in 10, Patterson with 9, Alvarado, Gully, and Johnson round out the scoring for the Lady Tigers. So could we have back-to-back upsets? And could the Irving Tigers end their long losing streak with the win over Nimitz tonight? Nimitz is without Dejan Wilson and Jason Justice tonight, so they're going to be a little shorthanded. They won game one, 66-31. It was just 27-16 at the break, but in the second half, Nimitz outscored Irving 39-15 to secure the win. How do the district standings look as you take a look at Joel Donaldson for the Nimitz Vikings, and he's looking at the Irving Tigers and their players that are being introduced. Let's take a look at the district standings. In 6-6A, it's the Cowboys on top over the streaking Farmers of Louisville. Hebron in third, and MacArthur holding on to that fourth playoff spot. You've got Nimitz at 3-7, and again, Irving still looking for that first district win. And could they come up with it tonight? Let's take a look at the characters, if you will, taking center stage. Who will get the starting nod? For the Vikings, it's Jernigan and Ross at the guards. Sal Allen will play your post. He's had some pretty good games of late. Gardner at the forward and Devin Johnson the other forward. For the Tigers, Stokes, Lusk, Cole, Deshaun Ford, and Chris Ortiz, your starting 5. These Nimitz Vikings have played really well, and in fact, they've lost the last 3 games by 3 points or less in district. Can they win this one, or can the Tigers break the skid? With the call is Mr. Nelson.
All right, Rob, the Nimitz Vikings in the dark jerseys, and Saul Allen wins the opening tip as he gives it over to Devin Johnson. You're right, this Nimitz squad, Rob, they could easily be 6-4. First shot of the game off of the glass, Jalen Jernigan averaging 8. And a 2-0 lead. We've just unscrewed the cap of the bottle on this one. Kobe Stokes, point guard for the Tigers. Irving averaging 48 points a game, and Nimitz allowing 60. The steal. And Jernigan able to get ahead of Nicholas Cole. It's Jalen Jernigan 4, and the Irving Tigers nothing.
Coach Perry had his back turned. He was talking to the assistants. Look up and find you're down already 4-0.
This is a home game for the Irving Tigers, but because of the construction behind the gym at Irving and the lack of parking, it necessitated this move to Northlake this year. A scoop to the hoop, and the drive in the bucket. Isaiah Gardner coming off a 20-point game last week, and a 6-0 start for the Nimitz Vikings. Wow, Jernigan and Gardner.
Let's watch it defensively as Stokes tried to drive the lane. They picked his pocket and found the outlet man very quickly. And that was Gardner with the 2 points. 6 unanswered to start this ball game here in the first quarter.
Nimitz comes in having lost 3 in a row. Stephen Perry in year number 14. Irving comes in having lost their last 13. Nimitz coached by Joel Donaldson in year number 7. We're at Northlake College, home of the Blazers, and possession Irving Tigers.
We talked about how good that Louisville has been of late in district. Well, Nimitz was toe-to-toe with those guys until the fourth quarter, and they got outscored by 10 points. And that spelled disaster in the game against the Fighting Farmers.
Cross-court pass to Nicholas Cole. Here's a handoff to Stokes. It was deflected, but Kobe got it back. Pulls up and can't get the pass. It's broken up. It's 3-on-3 and a drive, and that one missed. Allen there following the missed shot of Azim Ross.
Well, Allen just came on the weak side, and no one blocked him out. He used the large frame and jumping ability, and the Tigers, they just can't get a shot off, John.
Allen picks it up. He takes it away from Deshaun Ford. The outlet pass and the sandwich job on Nicholas Cole. He was double teamed and draws the foul 1 minute and 50 seconds into this game.
Coach
Substitutions.
Perry, yeah, he's going to go to the bench pretty quick, John, and get some of the youngsters down and some of the other players who didn't start, including Lusk, his 6'3" freshman.
David Johnson with a deep pass to Azim Ross. 8-0 in favor of the Nimitz Vikings, trying to go to 4-7 in district. Three-pointer on the way. It's a little short. The tip may have gone off of Kobe Stokes out of bounds.
He was fouled
On Saul Allen.
going over the back. We were really impressed with Kobe Stokes in that MacArthur game. He seemed to be the only player that could provide a spark offensively for these Tigers.
Yeah, had a 23-point game last week in the game we brought you here against MacArthur. Handoff on the wing to Curtis Stevenson, quarterback on the football team. 6-foot sophomore. Stevenson being guarded tightly by Johnson. Over to Stokes. Kobe with a dish off, and that one missed underneath by Caleb Lusk. As the drought continues, a handoff, a gliding move underneath by Devin Johnson. He's missed. Rebound on the other side, Jalen Jernigan. And the contact at the 5:20 mark.
I like what Coach Perry did on that last series offensively. Although they did not score, he spread it out a little bit and is able, his offensive guys, to get a little separation and some movement and get in close.
Isaiah Gardner, 6'4" junior, hitting his first of 2. Had 14 points in that first game. Nimitz winning 68-31 early in the district campaign. And here's the follow-up. Not there. Tigers trying to get on the board here. Bounce pass kicked away by Azim Ross. Here is Ross as Ross puts up a shot. He goes up, as well as the defender for the Irving Tigers being helped up. That's number 11, Curtis Stevenson.
Stevenson trying to draw the charge, didn't get it, blocking foul. That'll send Ross to the free throw line.
6'3" junior Azim Ross at the stripe. Nimitz coming off a 59-56 loss to Louisville.
Doesn't this look like the opposite of what happened in the girls' game? It was the Lady Tigers that was going to the free throw line and making the other team make mistakes.
Yeah, pretty close to that.
It's just the opposite, except Irving boys are doing the same thing to Irving High School. Irving looks to be in a funk to start the game.
Gardner cans them both. The lead at 11. Lusk with a save. Here's Stokes. Round one, around two. Stokes able to get Saul Allen in midair.
Well, that was nothing but Stokes. He got the basketball. I think he was determined to go around as many Nimitz players as possible to try to get to the hoop.
As Kobe Stokes, that one dips out. 6'2" senior.
Stokes had 24 in that loss to Coppell.
And the first point of the game for the Tigers. Bounce pass on the wing to Gardner, now on the corner. Here's Gardner. Cross court to Devin Johnson. Hand off, now getting closer, being double teamed. It's batted loose, and getting it back is Azim Ross. Gardner glides in. This one off the back iron, falls through. Isaiah Gardner with a 6th point. And the lead at 12 with his back to the glass, and the follow-up, Lusk on the missed shot by Stokes.
Yeah, Stokes a little out of control that last series.
Caleb Lusk had 10 points in our game last week right here. 13-3, the lead at 10. Make it 12 again. Saul Allen fills it up from the free throw line. Cross court is Stevenson. Down low with Johnson. Gets around Johnson, leaves it underneath for Caleb Lusk. He goes up and is hit hard by Ross.
Well, if you're Coach Perry, you have to be a little optimistic that down the pipe you're going to have someone like a Lusk at a freshman 6'3" playing varsity ball. You've got some sophomores, Stevenson one of them, along with Nicholas Cole.
And the freshman connects on the first of two. And the lead at 10. 3:33 to go here in quarter number one at Northlake College. Irving on the year at 2-20. Nimitz at 12-11. Jernigan hands it off. Three-pointer a little short. It's bobbled. It's finally controlled by Stevenson as he breaks away. Down the wing. Lost it. Able to hand it off. Not the prettiest of passes, but it got the job done as Lusk finishes it off.
Yeah, it was efficient.
And the lead at 8.
Surprised Ross didn't take that shot.
Yeah, you got to watch Jernigan here on the wing.
Yeah.
Jernigan's on the left. There he is. Backing in, gets another double pump, and Jernigan uses the glass. His 6th point. Came in averaging 8. Over and back on Kobe Stokes. He delivered the ball. when he got across the line, but his back foot was in the backcourt.
See, again, just like the women's game. Remember how Nimitz girls are doing the same thing, just not in sync.
Here's Jernigan from Ross. In the corner, baseline right. Gardner misses. And on the run, Kobe Stokes. Stokes fronted by Ross. Inside, an entry pass, getting it back. That was Lusk. Three-pointer missed by Stokes. Offensive rebound from the left of the circle, the miss by Lusk. It was Jalen Lusk that kept it alive. Reverse layup, Gardner. Follow-up is Saul Allen at 6'5". And the lead at 12 once again. Hash mark to Stokes. Lob feed down low to Caleb Lusk. He's shut down. Stokes will try the 22-footer off the bottom of the glass. In traffic, Devin Johnson. Johnson trying to take it in, reaches in, and the defender knocked it away but committed the foul as well. That is the fourth team foul.
Just a rough start right now for the 6'2 senior Kobe Stokes, number 1. He's got 1 point, and that was from the free throw line. Just hadn't had a really good look at the basket offensively.
Nimitz raced out to a lead of 11-0. And Devin Johnson will have one more. Number 14, Patrick Durham in the game for the first time. Durham giving Azim Ross a breather. And the second as good as the first. A 14-point lead with 1:20 to go here in the opening quarter. Skip pass collected by Rusk. He'll pivot, give it to Stokes. Stokes around Durham, and the ball blocked by Saul Allen. Pulled up jumper from 8, in and out of the cup by Jernigan. Run down and saved by Stokes, trying to get it back into the court. He does, but it is intercepted by the Nimitz Vikings. Cross-court shove to Johnson in the corner. And the miss by Saul Allen, and an offensive rebound underneath.
That's Jernigan.
And the put back as Jernigan adds to his total. 8 points.
Boy, the offensive boards are just in the favor of Nimitz here in the first quarter. All over the rebounds and the putbacks.
Under 20 seconds. Midcourt is Stokes, almost stepped on the line. Being forced deep, shoves it over to Stevenson. Back to Stokes with 8 seconds and a push on Devin Johnson. That is the 5th team foul. Non-shooting foul. They've got a little less than 9 seconds to get a shot off, and it's side court. Jalen Lusk will shove it back in. Nicholas Cole with a drive. His first 2.
Nice
with
drive.
1. And the heave-ho from just beyond midcourt by Devin Johnson terminates play here in the first quarter. It is all Nimitz at the end of the first quarter on our ICTN Game of the Week. It's Nimitz 23 and the Irving Tigers 9. Underway here in the second quarter. It's Irving's possession. Curtis Stevenson veers over to the right side in the corner to Nicholas Cole. Cole just ends, I think, into 3. From 20, Nicholas Cole fills it up.
Yeah, hitting his last 2 shots. I think, John, in the second quarter here, Irving's got to do a better job of blocking out the Vikings on the glass.
In and out as Jernigan took the long shot. Here's Kobe Stokes trying to do it all himself. Is sandwiched by a couple of Nimitz Vikings as Kobe Stokes, the worst of it. slowly being helped up. Took quite a hit. And will have to earn these 2 shots from the line.
Well, you can't fault Stokes' effort. He's pretty much a woe and go every time.
Yeah, you got to make something happen.
Yeah, he just seems to be just a little bit out of control tonight. Just a step or two. Let's see what happens here. Look, he kind of used the arm on one side, and then another Viking comes across, and definitely a blocking call.
Looked like it was trying to go through that turnstile on Black Friday. Man, just being bumped every which way, trying to find an opening.
Trying to bust through the subway turnstile.
Well, Nimitz was a preseason pick to finish 4th in the district. Hebron was the preseason pick to win district. Nimitz comes in at 3-7. But again, as Rob said, they've lost their last 3 games by 3 points or less. Coming off a 3-point loss to the Fighting Farmers of Louisville, lane violation. And Stokes will have another chance.
Yeah, in fact, 8 points combined in those last 3 losses. They really haven't been beaten bad by any team but Geyer, and Geyer beats everybody. So,
yeah, and they lost to Hebron by just 5 in the second meeting. They were thrown away at side court, but last touch by Irving. Devin Johnson to play it in. Leading by 9. All kinds of traffic for Durham. Will he get it again? Johnson backs it out.
Well, if you're Nimitz, you certainly don't have to be in a hurry.
Saul Allen will test the 3-point waters and miss. Loose ball foul on the rebound.
It's going to be against Stokes, going over the back of Jernigan, trying to get the rebound.
Jernigan number 3, Stokes wears number 13. That's the 5th team foul. So underneath and to the right of the goal, it'll be Isaiah Gardner, the junior, to play it in. And gives it on the wing. Devin Johnson now circles back to the middle. Jernigan can't shoot. Johnson will. He pushes it up and over Caleb Lusk, number 33. And to the line, Devin Johnson, number 22.
Kind of a lull in the second quarter. Action's kind of slow-paced.
Just a minute and 20 seconds deep.
A lot of whistles.
One more coming. And this to take a double-digit lead. Johnson, the senior, puts it up, and it's on the board. Trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Nimitz Vikings.
Vikings with the backcourt pressure.
Irving came in averaging just 48 points a game. From beyond the arc, the misfire by Lusk, Caleb Lusk. Outlet pass, Gardner makes the over-the-shoulder catch and finishes it off. Deflected.
Again, backcourt pressure.
Deflected, Devin Johnson. Nice feed, wide open is Isaiah Gardner. Isaiah Gardner now in double figures. Steve Perry wants a timeout, now trailing by 14.
Last series of events, all backcourt pressure, all pressure by the Viking defenders that turn the tide and has tightened the screws a little bit more on Irving High School. Here's the last 2 baskets. First of all, the outlet to Gardner, who finishes off the fast break, and then watch the pressure in the backcourt. They keep applying the pressure. There's the block, handles the ball. Nice feed. No one cuts off the man on the backside. Easy points for Gardner. Timeout, Irving, and Joel Donaldson and company out to a 14-point lead early into the second quarter. And they're playing very well so far, John, in the early go.
Tigers coming off a 78-53 loss to Capel, and they have it in the backcourt. Deshaun Ford with a leaping pass to Caleb Lusk. Handoff, almost walking with it is Deshaun Ford. Ball grabbed by Kobe Stokes. And Stokes going to try to hit a three. It's a little wide right. And underneath with a two-handed catch, Patrick Durham. Entry pass to Durham. Double pump, triple pump, a little short. On the run, the Tigers. Three working on three. And Kobe Stokes with a drive. And he's hit after the shot.
Can't blame Kobe's effort. The guy's been a motor in the whole time, and this time he's determined to take it all the way. Going up with the left hand. Foul by Allen. Allen, I know of at least 2 fouls here in the first half, and he's going to have to sit down because of that. And they bring in Arredondo, the senior, in his spot.
The 6'5 senior on the bench, Saul Allen and Kobe Stokes with a basket and one. That one rims out.
Once again, the Vikings just taking their time.
Up top for a three, and that one came from O'Connor. Man, that was deep. Devin Johnson lands a big three. Almost thrown away. Able to get it inside. Lusk misses underneath. Partially blocked on the drive of Isaiah Gardner. And 2 shots upcoming for the 6'4 junior. Averaging 17 points a game, had 20 in the loss to Louisville. He's also averaging 7 rebounds a game. Had 14 in the first meeting against Irving. That one's short, recovery, and it goes in for Durham. Little jump hook underneath by Durham.
Look how many times, John, Nimitz has been able to get second, third efforts with the offensive rebounding.
And at midcourt, the pass intended for Daniel Perez.
Timeout by Coach Perry. He's like, we have got to do something about this pressure in the backcourt. I was looking over. I would love to have a microphone on the head football coaches. They're in the section behind the Irving bench. Brian Rogers for Nimitz. Eric De Los Santos, first-year head football coach for Irving High School. And they're just sitting there talking to each other and laughing and cutting. I'd love to have a mic. There they are right there on those two. What are we talking about, Coach? Well, I don't, and there's, well.
He knows the spring practice is right around the corner.
Eric's like, oh. And he's yawning, see? Then it happens every time.
But you got to stay for the duration.
Oh, yeah, that's part of your job.
An 18-point bulge here for the Vikings. And who do they want to inbound? Deshaun Ford. Now he'll give way to Jalen Lusk in front of us. Lusk to play it in. Stokes. Stokes fronted by Devin Johnson. 4:10 to go in the half. Underneath, and Stokes on the other side fills it up.
Nicely done. He's a lefty. He can use the left hand and did so.
And a lane violation.
One of the few mistakes
Durham
by the Vikings tonight. offensively. But it's that half-court pressure that kind of turned the tide for him so far tonight.
Kobe Stokes, little nice one-handed dish off and waiting for it, Nicholas Cole.
That's what happens when you get Stokes driving the lane. If everyone collapses on Kobe, that opens it up for the trailer.
Yeah, you've got 6 fouls. You don't want to give him a 1-and-1. Ball mishandled by Durham, trying to save it. He does. He turns open up top for a 3 and a net cutter. Another deep 3 by Devin Johnson.
Oh, he felt that one. He wanted it. He didn't mind shooting it. Way out there.
The lead at 17. Nicholas Cole will try to answer off the back iron. Nobody underneath for the Tigers.
Come on, Devin, take another. You're up by 17. Give it to him. There he is. Go.
Little short. Allen would have rather up. Gardner with a save underneath. In and out.
Irving's lucky right there, John.
Yeah, Jernigan took the shot.
There's no one blocking out Nimitz. Nimitz has just been far superior underneath the glass and getting the putback.
Young James Morris, a 5'8 junior, number 21 on the floor for the Tigers. And Deshaun Ford comes out. Under 3 minutes here in the first half. It has been all Nimitz. Jumped out to a 19-7 lead. They have never trailed. Kobe Stokes trying to do maybe a little too much is blocked. That's the 7th team foul. You could get either Durham or Ross with a foul. I could give it on Ross. Well, Stokes back at the line where he is 3 of 5. And we'll hit one more. Defensively, Nimitz came in giving up 60 a game. Are averaging 56. So he connects on both. And the lead at 15 as we wind down to 2.5 minutes. Arredondo misses. Durham with a save. Backs out from 12. A little short. Lusk waist high with the rebound as Stokes fell. Maybe shaken up in the backcourt. Now he's back up underneath. Pass intended for Yao, number 23. Mustafa Yao, the sophomore.
Stoppage and play. They want to clean up the sweat, the wet spot where Stokes had fallen. He got tangled up with one of the Vikings.
Yeah, I didn't see. I looked back and saw him down.
Yeah. They collided as they were headed back toward the offensive end of Irving High School. But he popped back up, so the refs just want to make sure all the slick spots are gone.
Jalen Lust to trigger it back in.
You know, someone besides Stokes, I think, has to step up for Irving.
Up top. Three-pointer not there, and here come the Vikings. Azim Ross misses. Here's Stokes at midcourt. Under 2 minutes. And Stokes misses. Durham with a waist-high rebound grab. Outlet pass to Devin Johnson. Wasting no time. Johnson with a floater short. The steal. And the basket. Isaiah Gardner with the steal and the deuce, his 13th point.
Had 14 against Irving last time.
Lead at 17, minute 25 remaining. Stokes just content to hit a 3. That one missed badly, but recovery underneath by James Morris. Tigers had 7 threes in the game we did last week against Mac.
midway through the second quarter, Nimitz kind of went flat a little bit, and that was a chance for Irving to come back, and they're still a little cold from the field.
Under a minute, Durham misses. Handoff, Yao a little short. Curtis Stevenson went down, now he gets up. Kind of looking towards the direction of one of the Vikings, Azim Ross.
Nimitz has a distinctive height advantage, and pretty much I think they can jump high as well and higher than their opponent. They've proven that tonight with numerous offensive rebounds and putbacks.
Azim Ross holding his side.
Yeah, the officials are going to talk this one over, who gets charged with what. But I don't know, John. Don't you think Stokes needs to see if he can find somebody else to pass it to? There it is underneath the basket. And that was Stevenson, 11, getting tied up with Ross. And then Stokes comes over to play peacemaker.
Well, the fouls are even at 7.
They can come look at our replay if they'd like.
So you'd be willing to turn the monitor
absolutely
around?
Yeah, come on over, fellas.
That would cause a disruption of the signal.
Well, they could come behind. They could come behind us.
You know, they're still in discussion. There's Steve Perry. Now just trying to motion somebody to the line. Curtis Stevenson is about ready to take some free throws.
Is that a mint green shoe color he has, John?
It's not a lime green. It's
yeah,
you're right. It's kind of a
mint, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, almost a Miami Dolphin blue green.
Yeah.
Well, a technical foul has been assessed. Is that the case? It's a couple of shots for Stevenson, unless they do the same thing on the other end. That was the 7th. That's a 1-and-1. Is that right? It is. Stevenson will have another one. And then
they'll go the other way.
It'll be Johnson to do the same thing at the other end. Okay, Devin Johnson now waiting. There is the second free throw put in by Curtis Stevenson.
So unlike football where you had the offset penalties, here we go ahead and let each side try their one-on-one, and then the question is who gets possession thereafter.
Devin Johnson.
Jump it? It's going to go out of bounds. And it's not a 1-and-1, it's just a 2-shot for both sides.
And the follow-up for the senior. Now, who gets the rock?
It's going to be Nimitz.
Vikings will.
So they pretty much said, look, we're just going to call a foul on each guy and move on.
44 seconds. Well, if they can move on, so can we.
We can, and we will.
Cross court. Under a half a minute. Outside to Johnson. Johnson over the lid with a 3, and then Stevenson went up with Isaiah Gardner.
Gardner going over the back.
And now the 1-and-1 at the other end.
And both teams in the bonus.
It'll be Curtis Stevenson, 6-foot sophomore with a couple of points. His team down by 14. Outscored 23-9 in the first quarter. And the bonus to follow. Cans them both. He's 4 for 4 from the line. Vikings with 17 points this quarter, trying to milk it down here. With under 10. From 23, hits the bottom of the rim. with 1 second. A desperation 55-footer hoisted up by Curtis Stevenson. And that ends play here in the first half. It's halftime, our District 6-6A game of the week. On ICTN, our halftime score, the Nimitz Vikings 40, the Irving Tigers 28.
Nimitz Vikings with a commanding 40-28 lead at the break. They got off to a great start and have not looked back, at least for 2 quarters. And we'll take a look at that big start. And they seem to have all the right answers underneath. First, Jalen Jernigan, 2 of his 8 points. And then the fast break working for him, Isaiah Gardner finishing off with a layup. And then Devin Johnson, he got hot there for a moment, hit a couple of 3 balls. And gave the Vikings a big lead at the break. Stokes trying to do the best he can to keep the offense going. Nicholas Cole finishing off the fast break, and then Stokes with the power move underneath. And then finally one more time finishing off the 3-on-1 fast break, the hoop and the harm for Stokes. Scoring in the first half, Gardner with 12, Johnson 10, Jernigan 8, Allen, Ross, Durham Jr. finishing up the scoring for Nimitz. And then for Irving, Stokes, that's a hard-earned 9 points, folks. Cole with 7, Lusk 6, Stevenson 4, and Morris 4. So that's how the first half shakes out. Now let's see if Nimitz can keep on that roll and do what they did in the first half. And with the call is John Nelson. John?
All right, Rob, the Vikings toss it in play. Jalen Jernigan had the first possession as they go across court. Azim Ross in the paint and stumbling, able to save it is Saul Allen. The drive, the block on the attempt by Azim Ross, and the Vikings get it right back from beyond the arc. Oh, just inside the arc as Saul Allen. His 8th point as the Nimitz Vikings score on their first possession. We're joined by the head coach of the Blazers here at North Lake, Tim McGraw, here for the third quarter. And Coach, what is your timetable team-wise for the next 2 weeks?
I hear myself. We have 5 more conference games, and so it's Saturday, Wednesday, and then the following Saturday. So it'll run off really quick. 2 weeks from tomorrow, we will be completed with our conference action, and then the following week will be our tournament at the end. So it's really at the end of it for us. So hopefully we'll play really well and do well in the playoffs and go from there.
Hand off to Caleb Lusk. Who's the team to beat in the tournament?
I used to think I wanted to say Northlake, but it hasn't been that way so far this year. We've not risen to our hopes, but everybody in our league is very, very competitive. Everybody can actually honestly beat one another. I would say right now Richland is playing very well. They're fortunate they have 8 sophomores back who helped them last year, so they've got a nice experience advantage over all the rest of us.
From top to bottom, Coach, the league got a little tighter, especially the last 3 weeks as Azim Ross is shaken up.
This has been a physical game.
It has, and you saw Irving just last week on ICTN, and Stokes was kind of like the spearhead, the offensive juggernaut, if you will, for Irving, but he's had a hard time tonight. Here he is trying to make the drive on Ross, and Ross trying to take the charge and ends up hurting himself a little bit.
Well, Stokes is one big, strong guy. I really don't envy anybody who has the task of trying to take a charge off of Stokes. So
I mean, he might have some sore ribs in the morning.
He will be sore.
But you coach a player, when you do coach a player like Stokes, and I mean, he's kind of having that night to where sometimes it looks like he's out of control, you know, as he's trying to finish off the fast break. he's got some guys that are open. I guess as a coach, you just have to remind those guys, hey, it's not all about you. There's other guys out there you can pass it to, right?
Yes, that's a tough dilemma when a player is playing and he, to a little extent, has maybe lost confidence in his teammates' ability to catch his passes and be fruitful with their efforts. And it's been a long, frustrating year for that entire team. It's Stokes is out there playing with some younger kids who they're 2 years away from really being really competitive, and it's just been a challenge for Coach Perry. And he had some other kids that he was kind of hoping would have better years than they did. And if you coach long enough, you're going to end up with a year like this when nothing goes right and there's nothing really you can do about anything, and just try to get the kids to keep playing with good effort and play as intelligently as they possibly can, and to have good shot selection. I think last week Irving had a very nice stretch against Louisville where they came in, and Louisville's one of the top teams in the Metroplex, and for about 15 minutes Irving played with them and played very smart and intelligent, and they just wore down in the end, but they did have a nice stretch where they played very well, very smart.
Curtis Stevenson makes it 45-34 as they work it back outside. Now the drive, and leaving his feet, getting the elevation of the contact was Gardner. Coach, who's the best team you've seen this year high school-wise? What team has really impressed you? Maybe not in the area, but a team that's really put all the pieces together that you like.
Well, Allen is tremendous. I've seen over Christmas break, I went to some major tournaments, and I would have to say a list of literally 15 teams that were just impressive, and I've probably seen, I'm guessing now probably 12 of the top 20 teams in 6A. And so, and Texas is loaded as always, and the Houston area has a lot of teams that are good. Denton Geyer is obviously very good. And
you get to Houston quite often?
Not as much as I'd like to in terms of viewing kids, but it's nice that you catch the right tournaments and the Houston teams will be up here. And after our season's all over, after the high school season's over, that's the time that you go to all of the select tournaments with the independent teams. And so you get to see a lot of kids by the hundreds, and it just kind of runs together after a while. And it's hard to remember where you saw which kids. And
that's when you're supposed to have that iPad with you making notes, right?
Well, trust me, I'm making notes. There's no question. If you don't write it down, there's no way you'll remember. At the end of the day, at so many events that have numerous games going on, you can't even remember who you saw. It's that you see that many kids, and you just wander from court to court. And
well, Saul Allen turns it over on a traveling violation, and a three-pointer could pull this team to within 6. Curtis Stevenson with it. Jalen Lusk, baseline left. That's a 3. Kobe Stokes. It's a 6-point game.
Well, I know the Irving coaches have really been talking to their kids about their shot selection.
Oh, Coach Donaldson, that's frustration right there. Bad pass, goes to retrieve the basketball and slams it down. His team was in control of this game, and they have really lost it.
Dunk coming, nope, layup easily by Saul Allen on the steal and the deuce. So they get it back. And the lead back at 8, under 3 minutes to go here in the third. Kobe Stokes with 16 points on the far side. He's got Curtis Stevenson. Here he is in the middle. Stevenson guarded by Jernigan. Looking maybe towards Lusk. Hands it off. Nicholas Cole to Lusk, back outside to Stokes. He misses a three. Underneath for the recovery as it hangs on the rim, Caleb Lusk. Tipped away by Nicholas Cole.
Although he didn't make it, that's what Nimitz was doing in the first half. They were getting offensive rebounds and offensive putbacks, and Irving maybe trying to replicate that here in the second.
Jalen Jernigan to play it back in underneath. They immediately go to the corner for a short three. Johnson gets it back, in and out, recovery underneath. Nice rebound by Isaiah Gardner, and he's walloped on the way up.
Thing about this Nimitz team, coach, at least in this ball game, real aggressive underneath the glass.
Oh my goodness, they're getting after it. It's amazing how much offensive rebounding can cover a whole lot of mistakes.
One more coming for Isaiah Gardner. Nimitz in foul shooting tonight, 8 of 13. They led 40-28 at intermission. And this to give the Vikings a lead of 9. Kobe Stokes walks it up court for the Tigers. Again, 0-10 of the district. Losers of their last 13. Curtis Stevenson, now the handoff deep in the corner for a three, and dropped in nicely by Caleb Lusk. He's got 11 points.
Boy, that looked good, didn't it?
Those shots were not falling for Irving in the first half.
Devin Johnson in the middle, right side. Jernigan shut down. And a skip pass that just gets away from Jalen Jernigan.
Boy, Nimitz is struggling with this zone. They're not comfortable against it. They're not enjoying playing against it at all.
It's a 6-point game with 1:26 to go in the third. Kobe Stokes with a man in his face and drops in a three. Stokes bottoms it out. It's a 3-point contest, 48-45. They've eaten into that 17-point lead.
Nimitz is feeling the pressure. It's hard. That pressure will grow on you when you're playing a game that you're supposed to decisively win.
Under a minute. A three could tie it up. Well, Tim McGraw, we certainly appreciate you dropping by here in the third quarter and bringing us up to date on North Lake basketball.
I enjoy it.
Kobe Stokes at midcourt, 24 seconds. The fouls, Vikings have committed 2. The Tigers have committed just 1. With 10, Nicholas Cole outside. This is Lusk. Short recovery, reverse layup, good by Jalen Lusk. And we go to the fourth. Coach, appreciate it very much. Tim McGraw from North Lake.
Man. I enjoyed it a lot. I really did.
As we go to the fourth, it's 48-47 Nimitz. John Nelson back with Rob Woolman as we get set to play quarter number 4 here at North Lake. What a third quarter put up by the Tigers, outscoring the Vikings 19-8. They trail by 1, and they've got the rock to begin the fourth quarter. Nimitz led by as many as 18. And that is almost melted away. Here's Curtis Stevenson. Tigers have never led. Tipped away. Saul Allen.
Offensive foul.
Allen moving aside Curtis Stevenson. And the offensive foul gives it right back to the Tigers.
He used that arm. Watch his left arm. Use it to create separation right there. And a good job by Stevenson to kind of play it up as well. Ref was right on top of it.
Yeah, it's a good call. So the turnover and another chance for the Tigers to take the lead. Stevenson and palmed it. He turned it over. So that opportunity gone and give it right back to the Vikings at side court. Devin Johnson to play it in. Johnson tonight in double figures. Came in averaging 12. He has 10. Jernigan on the right. There's Durham on the left. In closer, turning, shooting, and scoring is Isaiah Gardner.
That was a tough shot, John.
16 points for Gardner on the turnaround J from about 12. And a three by Stevenson. And we start over at 50.
That's what we thought we'd get, right?
Nice one here in the fourth. Short as it bumps the rim. Gardner, and he throws it up. And caught in the lane by Nicholas Cole.
Now the fans are getting into it.
First chance for the Tigers here to take the lead. Kobe Stokes slows up the tempo. Now backs it out, giving him plenty of room is Gardner, number 15. The flip to Stevenson. Over to Cole.
I don't know if the slow-down game works to any team's favor, really. At least tonight.
I would work on Saul Allen. He may have 4 fouls. Allen's underneath, low post. And the drive by Kobe Stokes. Now, who's it on? It may be on.
That was two
Nimitz.
officials looked at each other. I thought one was going to call the charge. The other one said, I go back to you. Yeah. Well, that last player, I think, might have been positioned if he didn't move. Donaldson saying, wait a minute, who had that call?
Well, if you leave your feet and jump in the defender, it's an offensive foul. But if you meet each other in midair, who do you call it on?
Yeah, if you're midair and you didn't give the offensive guy room, then it's against the defensive player.
Well, Kobe Stokes is at the line for the Vikings. It's team foul number 4. And Stokes, if he hits this one, the Tigers will have the lead for the first time. They were 11 of 13 in foul shooting in the first half.
And they've hit 4 3-pointers here in the second half.
And the lead. 51-50. Irving came in averaging 48 a game. Nimitz averaging 56 in district play. Baseline, the drive off the glass. And a basket and one for Isaiah Gardner. Count the basket.
Nice move by Gardner and a big basket for Nimitz.
18 points for the junior.
Vikings playing on their heels, things not working. Watch a big lead evaporate.
And before Gardner can take the free throw, the buzzer. And now we're set to go. Play stop for a second. A 2-point game with 5:37 to play. Our last game of the season basketball-wise on ICTN. The baseball-softball season of our schedule starts March 11th. Softball, Lady Cards and the Lady Tigers at Irving High. Stevenson between the legs. They start the 5-second count and just dumps it off to Nicholas Cole. Lost it. Durham with a pickup. 3-on-2 ahead, and challenging Johnson was Stevenson.
From this angle, it appeared to be a clean block, but let's see what it looks like on the other end. Did he use his body? Yeah, came across.
He swiped him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did block it, but body contact.
Devin Johnson at the line for 2. $11 points for the senior, who came in averaging a dozen. And this to take a 2-possession lead. They get the rebound. Durham up high to save it. Nice drive to the hole. Jalen Jernigan.
Now that reminiscent of how the Vikings started this game, John.
The lead at 5 and a timeout taken by head coach Steve Perry of the Irving Tigers. It was 40-28 at halftime. At the end of the third, it was 48-47 Nimitz. And we've got quite a 4:46
There's the
to
last
go here.
Missed free throw and a nice offensive rebound. And a little matador move around the defender, Lusk, to get the 2 points. You know, looking at the foul calls, looking at the free throws, Irving has attempted 15, Nimitz has attempted 17, so we're pretty even there. Both teams doing quite well. Irving has only missed 3 of those free throws, so they're 12 out of 15. On the flip side, Nimitz has missed a little bit more. They've missed 6, so they're 11 out of 17. But by and large, you know, the calls have gone both ways. Both teams, you know, had their chances at the free throw line.
Well, they're going to earn this one down the stretch. The fouls, the Vikings have 4. The Tigers have committed 3. In the backcourt, it's Irving ball. Nicholas Cole. Stokes turns, a little underhand dish off to Stevenson. Stevenson picked up quickly by Gardner. Stevenson finally initiates a little bit of a move. He still has it. He'll drive and lost it. Picked up by Gardner. Gardner with a floater. Little teardrop by Gardner. 21 points for the junior in the lead at 7.
Just seems like this pace is not in Irving's favor.
We're halfway through the fourth quarter. Here's a bomb. Stokes lights it up again. 23 points for the senior.
14 in the second half, including 3 3-pointers.
Looking for Durham. There he is. Gets rid of it. Back in the middle to Jernigan. Leading by 4. Almost mishandled by Gardner. Saul Allen puts it on the floor. In trouble. And he turned it over. He, well, thought he moved the pivot foot, but a timeout taken. Oh, he got away with one. A timeout taken as soon as Allen made that turn.
Coach Donaldson, a quick time, saw that his player was in trouble. I mean, now we get into where, you know, every possession really counts.
They won the first game by 37 points, the Vikings.
Let's take a look at the series, John, as we have a timeout here. Nimitz winning the first. Irving had won 4 in a row. Nimitz had 3 in a row. Just typical city basketball where it's streaky, or you get a program that's, you know, rich in talent and they can reel off a good number of wins. Same holding true here.
Well, the Vikings next week will be at Capel. They'll host Hebron, and then the regular season ends at Marcus. They were 6-15 overall last year. Got 12 wins so far, trying to make it 13 tonight. In district last year, they finished 3-11. For 3, in and out, Saul Allen. The deflection and the shot by Gardner, and contact underneath committed by Irving.
Just can't reiterate enough, John, how the offensive rebounding by these Vikings have really carried the load for them here in the ball game. They made a really big difference.
You know, Coach McGraw, he said it, offensive rebound can cover up a lot of mistakes. One more for Gardner. Vikes were 8 of 12 in the first half from the charity stripe. Under 3 minutes to go. And the follow-up.
5 out of 9 for Gardner at the free throw line.
Cole in the corner. It's a 3, not there, trying to save it, and jarred loose of the ball was Lusk, and the Tigers get it back. It'll be Jalen Lusk to play it in. Can he hit it? Woefully short.
He was a little indecisive on whether you should take the shot anyway. And you know what happens. Those who hesitate
will be lost. Durham with a handoff, and Saul Allen misses the wraparound layup, and a foul underneath. And Saul Allen will go to the line.
Big break for the Vikings there, as Stokes thought he had a clean block, or a clean attempted block, and weak side official said, nope, you got him on the head.
First free throw of the game for Saul Allen, 6'5" senior, averaging 8 points.
And although he hasn't contributed a lot of points, you've got Ross on the bench, still holding his side. That's one big man you don't have defensively.
Leading by 7, losing it is Stokes. Picked up as Gardner glides in, and Gardner, you can count the basket.
Stevenson once again trying to draw the charge, and he's not going to get it. Coming right at you. Watch number 11 in white. He does a nice flop there.
24 points and counting for Isaiah Gardner. The lead at 9. And it stays that way. Grabbed underneath by Jalen Lusk. Here's a big possession, a huge possession for the Tigers, and they lose it. Stokes turns it over, and now they can really slow up the tempo. They don't need to take the quick shot. Under 2 minutes. Well, that's a no-look pass. It's broken up. Who's it off of? Off of the Vikings. Well, they
did
hurried up things.
Yeah, they did what you said they shouldn't have done. They had the ball, they had the lead. There's no shot clock in high school ball. They could just take their time, and they end up turning it over.
Well, Deshaun Ford dumps it back in play. 1:45. Curtis Stevenson in the front court. Trailing by 9. 3-possession game. Here's Stokes. And almost lost it. No question, he's a marked man. Number 1.
He's drawing single coverage, though.
Curtis Stevenson pulls up from the free throw line and connects.
Pretty shot.
11 points for Stevenson, 63-56. 1:05 remaining.
Vikings don't have to shoot. They can just keep dribbling.
Corner to corner, and the middle man is Johnson. He'll play pitch and catch. And this one away from the ball. It's a timeout taken by Coach Donaldson with under a minute to go and leading by 7. They'll have the ball following the timeout.
Going to take the full timeout. And I don't, Donaldson remembers what happened the last possession where his guys threw it away, so it's more or less get all your ducks in order, and this is what I want to do. On the flip side of that, if you're Steve Perry and you're down by 7 and you're under a minute to go, how long before you foul someone? And then, of course, the high school coaches, they don't have all the stats that colleges or anyone else would have. You would know who to foul.
Well, the next foul would be the 7th. Fouls are no factor for the Vikings. They've got 4. I mean, everything favors Nimitz right here.
It does, including the possession arrow.
So it looks pretty good for the Vikes to snap their 3-game losing streak. Again, they have lost their last 3 games by 3 points or less.
Are you calling it, John?
Well, I'm putting in the call right now.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in. Happy Groundhog Day. Don't do it over. Jalen Jernigan. He'll look, and he'll send it and off with a kneecap of Isaiah Gardner. He found the man open, but Gardner took his eyes off of it and gives it up.
That's not how they drew it up after the timeout.
Tigers in a hurry-up mode. It's a 3. It's a 3 for Nicholas Cole. He has 10, the lead at 4, and a half a minute to go. Reach around. Stevenson got the elbow of Jalen Jernigan. That is the 7th, and a 1-and-1 for the Vikings. It'll put Jalen Jernigan at the line for the first time.
And one of the few Vikings, John, who has not attempted a free throw tonight.
Jernigan with 10 points, averaging 8 a game. Misses, who has it over the back. Out of bounds, and the push-off, I believe, on Durham.
Like you said, they had fouls to give.
They've got 1 more to give. But they're going to meet him at half court. They're going to let him get to the half court. Stokes now in the front court. And quickly launches a 3. A 3 makes it a 2-point game. And a quick timeout at 63-61. Kobe Stokes unofficially 26 points. They had 1 3-pointer at halftime.
Look at Stokes. He just lines it up and fires. They were down by 4. That's a 3-pointer, so they're down by 1. So now you've got the 1-possession game with under 20 seconds to go. And Nimitz nursing a 1-point lead. Sometimes, John, it's tougher to hold the lead, to hold on to the basketball, to force a team to foul you than it is just to run your normal offense. And I think that's what's happening to Nimitz. They just can't just hold on to the basketball. And then, of course, last time, Jernigan went to the free throw line for the first time tonight and missed badly on that one shot. Nimitz fouled in the process.
Well, they had it at midcourt, and the inbounds pass was fumbled by Gardner. Turned it over, and the Tigers took advantage of that, but now the Vikings will have to go the length of the court, but they lead by 1. already over the limit as far as a 1-and-1 foul-wise. Irving, their next foul would be the 8th. How soon do they wait? Do they see the lineup here? Jalen Jernigan will inbound. He's 6'1", and nobody on him.
Yeah, they're double teaming the inbound players.
As soon as the ball grabbed by Devin Johnson, he's pushed from behind by Nicholas Cole. 19.1 to go, and Devin Johnson at the stripe.
Just by the nature, high school can change so quickly because of the free throws. They're not money, not at this level.
And he'll get the bonus. 64-62. And Coach Perry want to get the freshman back in, Caleb Lusk.
So far, Jernigan 6 out of 9 from the free throw line. That's a good percentage.
Devin Johnson with one more. Here's the bonus. In and out. Who has it? On the floor, picked up by Scobie Stokes with 2 seconds off of Johnson. In front of us with 13.3. And a timeout taken. It'll be Tiger possession in the front court, trailing by 2. And now the onus, Rob, is on the Nimitz defense. You can't slack off on Cole or Stokes. You've got one foul to give.
Here's
That's
the
kind of an
inbound play,
advantage.
right touched at the last minute. It appears by Johnson. Going out of bounds, and it keeps the offensive move. And it slows things down, and it gives Donaldson a chance to call time.
You got
But
one foul to give.
Just because you call time and you have a chance to set up your players defensively doesn't automatically mean it's going to work.
True.
He's called time tonight to try to set up an offensive play, and what happened? They ended up turning it over.
Tigers took the lead in this fourth quarter at 51-50.
Irving got hot at the right time. I mean, Stokes and Lusk and everyone else, Stevenson, started hitting the jump shots.
Jalen Lusk to inbound.
Double anybody up here? Or just go straight man-to-man? You got a foul to give?
Or you get that one to give.
Yeah.
It's touched, and they're going to let Stokes play with it. Over to Stevenson with 7 seconds. And Lusk is grabbed by Donaldson with 3.4. That is the 6th.
Yep. Heads up play.
A three-pointer would win it. They've got 3.4 to get the shot off. Jalen Lusk at side court, trailing by 2. Here's Stokes. Stokes, top of the key, woefully short, an air ball 3. And the Vikings hold off the Tigers 64-62. Quite a finish here in the last 5 minutes as the Vikings snap their 3-game losing streak. They go to 4-7. The Tigers drop their 11th district game. Well, Rob Wilman got to collect his thoughts. Joel Donaldson will be our post-game interview. The head coach for the Nimitz Vikings will be back to total it up. Some highlights, some stats, and our post-game show continues from North Lake as the Vikings hold off the Tigers by 2. Back at North Lake College, the Irving Tigers trail by as many as 18. They lose by 2, 64-62. Rob Wilman with head coach Joel Donaldson of the Nimitz Vikings.
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, you lost 3 in a row by under like 8 points, and were you thinking, oh my gosh, this was going to slip away as well?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we got really smart kids, tough kids. We played great for 3.5 quarters most of the time. We just hadn't been finishing lately, and I mean, we've been working real hard at it in practice. But I knew this would be a tough game, a rival game with Irving. They're fighting for their lives. They fighting for some pride. So, I mean, Coach Perry always has them ready to play, and they were ready to play tonight.
You guys seem like to do so well on the boards early on. It seemed like you were hitting you might miss a shot, but there was somebody there for the putback.
Yeah, exactly. We are good-sized kids, but I think we kind of went in at halftime overconfident a little bit when we came out. A little lackadaisical, and that's, a lot of that has to do with coaching too. We got to have them ready to come out, but it's hard with teenagers sometimes. But I'm proud of our team. A win is a win here, but I thought we did a good job.
You look back on this season, we kind of think about it. This is a season of what ifs because you have played so many, not just the last 3 games. I looked at your schedule. You had plenty of games that you were in it toward the end.
We have 12 players, and 11 of them hadn't had a lot of varsity experience. But it's fun coaching these kids because they work so hard, they're smart, they listen. But that down the stretch stuff really hurts you. So late in the year and next year, we should be really, really ready to take care of those kind of things late in the year. So.
All right. Well, congratulations and have fun with this one, right?
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right, John, back up to you.
John Nelson back at Northlake College as the Irving Nimitz Vikings hold off a pesky Irving Tiger squad 64-62. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. In the fourth quarter, the Vikings held a 1-point lead heading into that fourth quarter. That's Saul Allen, 2 of his 12 points. 3-pointer from the corner. As the Nimitz Vikings, they just go back and forth. Inside, number 15 with a layup, Isaiah Gardner. Gardner finished with 24 points. And some highlights for the Irving Tigers in the fourth quarter. Baseline left, Kobe Stokes connected on 4 3-pointers tonight. Finished with 26 points. Deep corner, another 3, as the Tigers just would not go away. And our last highlight, another 3 by who else? The 6'2 senior Kobe Stokes, again with 26 points. Irving unable to snap that losing streak in district. Isaiah Gardner with 23. Saul Allen had 12, as did David Johnson. Jalen Jernigan had 10. 4 players in double digits tonight for the Nimitz Vikings. Kobe Stokes topped all scorers with 26. Caleb Lusk had 13. Curtis Stevenson chipped in 11. And Nicholas Cole added 10. So the Vikings now go to 4-7 in district play. They win their 13th game overall. And a nice fourth quarter. They scored 16 to Irving's 15. As you saw, 8 minutes, it looked like the last 4 minutes, just everybody couldn't miss in the last 4 minutes. 64-62, the Nimitz Vikings win it over the Irving Tigers, so they take the series this year, having won the first game 68-31. Well, that'll do it from Northlake College for our entire ICT and production crew. For Rob Willman, we'll see you in the softball/baseball season. This is John Nelson saying good night from Northlake.